Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Zach Drew, and I am so glad I have my buddy here with me today.
In the flesh.
What's your name?
I'm Andrew Bellers, if you forgot.
If you forgot. And I guess, man, it's been so long since you've been on the program with me. I guess I'm supposed to shake your hand. Good to have you back. We did a little update with the fundraiser, about 3.5 months ago?
Yeah.
Yep. Zoomed in, and so he is here in the flesh. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We're relaxed here. We didn't even know if we were going to be filming or not. Andrew and his wife, Melissa, were coming into town right after Thanksgiving. She's right outside of the camera. She would be fantastic on the camera. We were talking before the show. I'm looking at her. She's looking at her. She's smiling, shaking her head no. She's got some great things to say. Little camera shy. But I said, listen, you've seen it, all these great things. You've seen me feeding it to Andrew and Andrew to the camera.
Yeah, I just need a little earpiece.
A little earpiece. But yeah, so we're relaxed, as you can tell. We're in the middle of a snowstorm. They're supposed to be leaving tomorrow morning.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see. It's not so much the 8 or 9 inches, it's the 40 mile an hour wind gusts.
Yeah.
And Andrew and I were talking, we pay here in Central Illinois, some of the highest property taxes in the nation. There's clearly some misappropriation of funds because with the amount that we pay in property taxes, I feel like the roads should be heated in Central Illinois. Yeah. But listen, we decided to come out to the studio because on their way down, it was actually on, specifically it was Thanksgiving night, we received some amazing news. God is faithful. On Thanksgiving night, I got a call from a donor. As you know, we are in the midst of the largest fundraiser we've ever done. We're going to be talking about what we're doing. But it is a 2-year acceleration fundraiser to bring Andrew Bellers on full time. Right now, it's like 5 hours a week, but it's full time, and we would be ramping up over. We produce one show a week, so one show times 52. If we can make it all of every week, and sometimes we can't, that'd be 52 pieces of content. With what we're aiming to do, if we can do this, it would be over 500 pieces of content a year. 3 shows, and then clips from those shows posted 7 days a week. But we got a call from a donor. It was a Christmas miracle. It was a Thanksgiving miracle.
Right.
We've been stalling out at just shy of 70,000 for almost 3 weeks. And we have, to get us to the full 120, they said, we're going to give a $25,000 match.
That's crazy.
$25,000 match. We started with 2 people coming together to get us kickstarted with a $25,000 match at the beginning. It's like the bookends, right? Mm-hmm. And now the last $25,000, amazing news. It was so awesome. And so some simple math here, 70 plus 25, if we can match a 25, that gets us to 120. And I swear, we've been doing this for 3 months, and there comes a time, every fundraiser, I'm like, God, I don't know, because he's coming to town, and we're going to be talking about, if we don't make the goal, what are we able to do with what we've raised? Can we do this, because we can't do the full thing? Does it mean that you can still quit your job? What does it mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, ye of little faith, Zach. Listen, I want to talk about, so $25,000 match. We're hoping that you get involved in a big way and we can reach our goals. So, what are we going to do with it? Andrew, can you make a graphic for this after the show and put it on the screen?
Of course, yeah.
All right, cool beans. All right, so we're going to continue the Zach Drew Show, the weekly political current events programming. We're also going to add a weekly verse-by-verse Bible study series, so a whole other show. Mm-hmm. And then something that I'm also very excited about, it's going to be a weekly podcast aimed at our generation. The majority of our audience is older generation. A lot of my parents, probably 55, 60 and older. And the vast majority of everyone watching this program, we have the most important thing in common: salvation. There's an entire generation, being the millennials, being Gen Z, and there is a movement taking place where you're seeing a conservative shift over. And it seems like so many stories I hear of people getting saved, people finding Jesus, it's like they come to the realization of what I've always known to be truth is not truth. And my kids are screaming in the background. During my show, I basically have 2 latchkey kids that are just hanging out back there partying. But they're like, what I've known to be truth isn't truth. Mm-hmm. And so it sets them on a journey, and they, not every time, but sometimes God just comes in and saves them right there on the spot. But it's like they move to more of a conservative way. It's like, because if you are a conservative, it does not mean you are Christian. I know lots of conservatives that are not Christians. They're actually complete reprobates. No, but I know a lot of conservatives that aren't Christians. But conservative values are rooted in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And so if they just finish their journey, they find themselves where? At the foot of the cross.
And that's really, it's been such a heart of this ministry really since the beginning. I mean, you even look at the name of the ministry, I Go Before You, the promise that God gave Joshua. The call for the ministry has been to lead a wandering generation. And really, we've always kind of seen that wandering generation as our generation. Mm-hmm. And if you even look at a lot of the content that we talk about, especially in the early days, we were talking about DMT and ayahuasca and sort of the spirituality of, millennials and Gen Z. This has been on our heart since the beginning, and it's always kind of been like, how do we reach this group? How do we break into, the younger generation?
Yeah, and it's like, if you read like our founding documents, you're right. I mean, the vision is that the vision is to have the Zach Drew Show, but we named it IGBY for an OTT network. We would like multiple shows, and not just you and I hosting shows, but to bring other people on and have a plethora of shows for different types, different generations, different political shows, and world events, but also Bible shows and just what's happening like with our generation and a show for the boomers, the Gen X's, the millennials, and Gen Z to literally be a place for everybody. And it's not that we're getting back to our roots, because I think that there has to be a foundation laid. Mm-hmm. And I really do not believe that we can reach our generation, the millennials and Gen Z, without, and I'm just being honest with you, without the financial backing of the older generation. And so it's like we've been laying this foundation, and now we're saying, partner with us to reach the lost. And we're going to have a Bible show as well for everybody. But then I'm so excited about this podcast we're going to do. And let's get back to what's on the screen. So we're going to continue doing the weekly political current events program. We're going to add a weekly verse-by-verse Bible study series, weekly podcast aimed at millennials and Gen Z on culture and faith and just whatever's happening, right? Whatever, if whatever's happening, whether it's sports or trading card, I mean, just whatever it is, just being ourselves. But ourselves, we are Christians, right? It's like, I enjoy all the things that millennials enjoy, but I also am a Christian, and to bring that through. Daily short clips, Monday through Friday, and getting to Saturday and Sunday to break through digital suppression and put biblical truth back into people's feeds. Now, I'm not going to get into the back end of this because it is complicated, but there is an absolute game plan that a lot of people don't understand, and it is strengthen distribution through SEO discoverability. And what that means is, in the back end, whenever you publish things, and it takes time and it takes money, and it basically can help break through the suppression, because not a lot of people can even find the Zach Drew Show, and a lot of people aren't even notified when they're published because we have been blacklisted on these major platforms. But through SEO work in the back end, we can become discoverable again, and then starting fresh with these new 2 shows, right? Our impact goals over the next 24 months, because this 120,000 is not just for 1 year. It is, we think that we need a year minimum. It's going to be a year and a half, but to say we need 2 years of funding to make sure that this thing can essentially continue. I don't want to keep doing huge fundraisers every year. I want it to be able to be sustaining, right? And I feel like that 2 years is a good goal. But the impact goals for 24 months is to triple our broadcast and digital reach, publish 500 pieces plus of gospel-centered content, not just 50 to 52 pieces of content each year, and secure long-term sustainability for expanding programming. The budget and current momentum, 2-year acceleration fund, $120,000. Raised to date, it's $70,000. It's actually still, it's just shy of $70,000. We've been at a total standstill for around 3 weeks. And the active challenge right now is our $25,000 match. And if we can match that $25,000, that brings us to $120,000. And Andrew you have a great job right now.
Yeah, I like my job.
You have a great job, and I don't know how much you want me to say, but Andrew called me. He just really felt like he was supposed to come back full time, and I'm not going to share your business, but it does involve a big pay cut, and hopefully one day, whenever we can get you back to where you were, but.
Yeah, and really, it is the largest fundraiser we've ever attempted, and it seems on paper like a lot of money. But if you look at the amount of content that we're going to be putting out, I mean, this is people who are on this level. They've got 10 to 15 plus member teams. And we're talking about a very small team.
We're going to be grinding out the wazoo.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one life. I want to get to the pearly gates exhaust and said, I did everything I could do.
Yeah. So, and that's not to say that we're very grateful for the amount that everyone has given. And, and it's a lot of money. I just want to say, for the amount of content we're doing, it is kind of a humble sum. Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, we're going to be grinding, but we really believe in this content. We really believe in what we're doing. And we really hope that you partner with us to get us there.
Amen. And so once again, that last bullet point, active matching challenge, $25,000. Every gift is doubled right now. If someone wants us to say, hey, you know what? Here's a gift for $25,000, just bring us right to it. Or 25 people want $1,000, whatever it is, $5 becomes $10 for the next $25,000 to get us to that goal of $120,000. And talking about grinding, and I feel like one of the main things that the enemy does, it's like, we can talk about the sins of the sin of whatever it is, greed, or with money, or sex, or power, whatever, all these things that the enemy offers. Mm-hmm. But at the root of it, what he's offering is distraction. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not that he's offering you money. You want power, you want all these, like the sins of the world. I wish I would have prepared up my notes. Just it could be a huge list, just fill in the blank. But it's like, no, he wants to give you these things to distract you, to keep your mind away from thinking. It's like you have very few moments in life whenever, let's say all things come crashing down, or after, or during and after a funeral, like these moments where it's like everything becomes smaller, and you reevaluate your life, and the distractions are removed, and you think, what is this all about? And we would like to produce content that provokes that in the millennial generation, in the Gen Z, the fact, and it's not gonna be like some morbid show, I'm free flowing right now, but just the fact that there is a common denominator between every single human ever, and that is one day our hearts will stop beating. And whether you are a billionaire, that's the money one, or whether you run a Fortune 500 company and that's the power, you're some type of senator or congressman, like whatever you have on earth, it'll be gone one day. And that's why I talked about so many times the scriptures, and I love it, that it refers to this life as a vapor, as a mist, that we're here and then we're gone. And I feel like the more opportunities, the more we can sit and just take a step back and just remember that we are eternal beings and that this entire life here, whether the Lord gives you 70 years or 120 years or whatever it is, it literally is a vapor compared to eternity. It literally is nothing at all compared to eternity. It is but a shadow of a larger reality. And you've heard me say it 100 times that whenever we are we're going to be not all knowing, but we're going to be in our glorified bodies. We're going to have the reasoning abilities to realize after 10 million or 10 billion or 10 billion to the 10 millionth power in heaven, oh my goodness, it's just begun. But yet I'm sitting here 35 years old. What are you?
I'm 33.
33 years old, and it doesn't feel like a vapor. I mean, it felt like all the memories, all like even the family events of the Thanksgiving. It's wonderful, wonderful last few days, but it's like all the memories of 34 and 33 and 30 and 20 and 15 and 10. It's like it doesn't feel like a vapor, but it is. It is. No matter what, it is. Methuselah, 969 years old. It's a vapor. Everything is a vapor compared to eternity. And it's like the main thing, God wants us to know what's happening in the world. Yes, He wants us to know the signs of the times. He's told us that. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is salvation. The main thing is to make sure that you know Jesus and that Jesus knows you. To be able to say, yes, I have confessed with my mouth and believe in my heart that Jesus is the Lord and Master over your life, to make sure that your salvation is secure. And we've been laying the foundation. We've been talking about current events because these things are important, and they're important to me. I like talking about them. I've been called to talk about them, and that's why this show will continue until the day I die. But this show is the foundation, right? Because like you are the believers. But there is a dying and lost generation. And our mission statement from the beginning, I go before you, is to lead that wandering generation into the promised land. That promised land today isn't the promised land of the Old Testament. That's Jesus. That's salvation. And a generation is wandering, and a time I feel is running out. And millennials, a lot of them, there is that shift of that, you're seeing the conservative shift, but it's like, that's not enough. Because if you were just a conservative millennial, if you're just a conservative Gen Z in America, you're still spiritually lost right now. And they're not, and a lot of them aren't just a little confused. They, as you know, if you've watched my show, they're being intentionally led off a cliff by a strategic, it's been strategy, by a strategic, godless culture, by deceptive ideologies, and a system that wants them broken, wants them empty, wants them detached from the truth, wants them distracted. And it's not just us, but that there's many other organizations, but that is exactly why IGBY, International Ministries, exists. That's why we are here, to call this wandering generation back, to lead them out of the wilderness and into the promised land. And we've said it many times on this show, and we believe that God has placed a type of Joshua anointed on this ministry. And it's not just to entertain, not to play church, but to shepherd a lost people back into the fold of God before it's too late. While we have them, while we are in this pilgrimage, while we are in this vapor, this mist that appears for a little while and is gone, in this short little window of time that will determine all of their eternity. We have, and how to do that? We have to speak their language. Well, do you know how you can speak a millennial's language? Is if you're a millennial. Do you know how you speak a Gen Z if you're a Gen Z? Right? We have to show up on the platforms they're on with the excellence, with strength that captures their attention and points them to Jesus. And that means this, that it's time to expand. It's time to build. It's time to restructure our content so that we can meet this calling head on. And I've said it a couple of times already this show. The truth is that, listen, like Andrew said, what we're planning on doing, it takes a team of 10 or 15. We're going to do it with me and you and two contractors, right? We're going to be grinding. 120 grand. This is, Andrew's taking a pay cut. No one is lining the coffers. I mean, we are we are on the struggle bus, my friends. And we can't do this alone. We can't. I wish I was some multi-millionaire could just fund the whole thing. Just put it right back in it. We can't do this alone. To step into this next season, to build a team that can consistently create high quality, spirit-led, God-centered content. We need partners. We need people who believe in this mission, that feel the conviction of what we're seeing. I pray that the Holy Spirit is convicting people watching right now to give. People who feel the urgency, people who understand that what we're building matters for the soul of this nation. If we are going to reach this wandering generation, we need a strong backing of believers who will stand with us, pray with us, and give toward this cause. This is our moment. This is your moment. This is their moment. And it was so intimidating thinking we've got to raise 120 grand. We've never done anything like it. I remember the first fundraiser every day, we tried to raise 2,500 and we raised like 500, just fell right on our faces. And then the next one, we really felt like God was in it. And I said, Andrew, we're going to try to raise $10,000. Like, hey, we just tried to raise 2,500. And I feel like we're supposed to expand. We're supposed to build out a television studio in the garage and we're going to try to raise 10,000. All right. If you feel like God's telling you to do it, let's do it. And then the next month we had raised like $80,000. And we were at this stage of equipment. They were like, well, now we can buy this, now this. And now we were able to buy top-notch studio equipment and have fully functional studio with the lighting grids and the decks and all that fancy equipment that you understand. And it was a similar thing. It's like, we've never, ever attempted something so huge for us. We're small. I am filming in the garage. To raise 120,000, and we've raised almost 70, and that in and of itself is crazy. But it's one of the things where it's like we can't pull the trigger. You can't leave your job. We can't do it if we've got to raise the full 20, and here we are. And we do believe God is behind it, and I hope that you feel that too. And oh my gosh, we're at 23 minutes in. Okay, I've told you all what we're doing. I got to tell you how, right? It's how to do it. Listen, of course, I want you to know, let's get down to business. This is a nonprofit, so everything's tax deductible. Just kind of like, what's that called? I don't remember what it's called. But anyway, I was going to say this is the time of the show when we do this. Everything's tax deductible. You can give. And I pray that if you're watching the show that I can give Andrew Bellers a call and be like, you're not going to believe what just happened online. That's what I'm praying for. But if you simply just go to ZachDrewShow.com, ZachDrewShow.com, and you click that bright orange donate button, you can give right now. You don't have to wait. You can absolutely give in the mail. You can do it right now. And it's instant. We're notified. ZachDrewShow.com, click the bright orange donate button. And there's two ways there. You can either donate through our online Christian payment platform program. That's a lot of P's. Called Tithely. And also there is PayPal there as well. And you can give through the mail. A lot of our gifts do come through the mail. And you can give to IGBY International Ministries if you put that there, or you can put Zach Drew Show. The both goes to the same account. Zach Drew Show, IGBY International Ministries, P.O. Box 797, Decatur, Illinois, 62525. And I'm asking if you do that, please put in the memo section that for the fundraiser, for the matching fundraiser, because we have to raise $120,000, but it is on top of what we have, the regular monthly bills to continue. So we're trying to raise $120,000 on top of that. So if you can please put in the memo section that, and if a $5,000 check comes in and it doesn't say fundraiser, I'm going to be looking up your address and calling you, like, hey, that was toward the matching, right? And you're going to say, yes, okay, put it in the fundraiser, in the memo section. It'd be awesome. I pray that the Lord is working on your heart.
And also let us know, for instance, correct me if I'm wrong, if you decide, well, I can't give you a big lump sum right now, but I'm willing to add like, let's say you give 50 a month right now, and you say, I'm going to up my giving, $20 a month. Please let us know. I'm upping my giving $20 a month, and that 20 a month is going towards the fundraiser.
That's right. So that would be an extra. So if you're letting us know, say, hey, this is for the next 2 years. Well, 1 year would be 240, so that we know that we can apply 480 towards the pledge. Same thing, if you give 100, you want to do it 200 for the next 2 years, that would be considered a $2,400 pledge over the next year. Yes, because we've said it's 120,000, or a lot easier number is we raise an additional $5,000 in new monthly recurring pledges. And whenever you do give online, there are all those little boxes you can check as well that just say, hey, make this a monthly thing so you don't have to think about it. And also puts our heart at ease as well. Because if you forget, then we're like, uh-oh, right? Type of thing. But listen, hey, one more quick thing before we go. We talked about it a little bit 3 months ago. You are expecting. Well, actually, you're not, but.
Right, yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Why did I just share the news? That was your, okay, go ahead, sir, whatever. Sometimes I just put my foot in my mouth. Someone is expecting. Who is it?
Yeah, my wife is expecting. I mean, I'm also expecting, but not physically. But yeah, my wife is pregnant. So she's a little over 10 weeks now. Our last ultrasound was crazy because she was 9 weeks and 5 days. The baby was measuring at 10 weeks. And we don't know the gender yet, but that baby was kicking and moving around. Oh, awesome. We're at the stage now where the baby looks like a baby. So it's super exciting. Yeah. And awesome. So probably late June, we're gonna have a little baby. So
you should put the picture up on the screen.
Can we do that? Well,
we'll get
approval.
Yeah. How long have you guys been married now?
So in May it'll be 8 years, right?
Did you know I was at your wedding?
Yes, I knew that.
It was a good day. I was actually in your wedding. Did you know that?
Yes, I knew that.
That was a good time. That was when I was back in Florida. Wait, no, it wasn't. No, I was in Florida. Now we're just talking. You're just enjoying the conversation. But yeah, I was in Florida.
I remember you rolling up in this car that I was like, did they drive here in this? It looked like it was.
Yeah, what was that? I was living in Decatur, but I got invited to the wedding when I was still living in Florida.
It'd be really impressive if you drove that car all the way from Florida.
Yeah, golly. I told you the story. I mean, I resigned from my job. I felt like I was supposed to start this ministry, and I'm like, I have no idea. I have no money in the bank. My buddy sold me that car for $500. I think he saw me coming because it was probably worth $50.
Yeah.
That was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. Tough crowd here. But yeah, I mean, that was tough starting. Yeah. That was tough.
Well, and I remember the conversations we were having at that time because there was you were talking about starting the ministry. I knew that, like, we had been texting because we're friends, not just on TV, but we're actual friends. So I remember you texting me that you were going to start your own ministry in Illinois, and we were kind of just talking about that when you were here. And it felt like the writing was on the wall, and I felt stirring in my heart, but it would just, I wasn't at a spot where I was like ready to be like, I want to do this with you. But it wasn't long. I mean, we got married in May, and it was like maybe 2 months later that I texted you and was like, hey, we're looking for a house in Illinois.
Then here we are. And listen, we're in overtime right now, so you have to edit some of the stuff out, actually.
That's okay.
But listen, I hope you get involved. ZachDrewShow.com, or write us, Zach Drew Show, P.O. Box 797, Decatur, Illinois 62525. We do have a $25,000 match right now. If we can match the full $25,000, that brings us to our goal, and we can pull the trigger on everything. I'm so excited. All right, Andrew, hopefully you can get back tomorrow with a snowstorm outside.
We'll see.
All right, until next time, we'll see y'all.